A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital of people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital of people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital of people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital of people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information and that association to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole. has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Hello and welcome back to the Automate Live desk. Once again, my name is Jana Martin. I'm the Media Production Manager for the Association for Advancing Automation, and we're really excited to be featuring this interview with one of our winners of the Innovator Awards this year in the software category. Joining me on the desk to help host this interview is my co-host, Jimmy Carroll of TECH B2B. Jimmy, it's great to see you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. And then, of course, we have from AMD, we have Giulio Carati, fellow Industrial Vision, Healthcare, and Sciences. Great to have you with us today. And then we have KV Kenjar Beskar, and you are the robotics lead for Industrial Vision, Healthcare, and Sciences at AMD. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much for having us here.
So let's just start things off really quick, and why don't you guys just give a brief background about your roles and what you do at AMD?
Absolutely. I'm a principal architect within the Industrial Vision and Healthcare and Sciences team, so even an AMD fellow. So what I'm doing is basically overarching the technology, the AMD technology that is applicable to industrial systems, medical systems, and vision systems. Fundamentally, that is my role within this particular segment. Evi?
Yeah, thank you, Giulio. Yeah, so my responsibility at AMD is the robotics market lead within the Industrial Vision, Healthcare, and Sciences team. I've been with AMD for about 7 years now, based in Boston. Apart from one of the most interesting thing about my role is that I get to work with a lot of robotic startups, right? And understanding their needs, their challenges, and how our technology can kind of bridge that gap, and how our technology can keep up with what they are requiring. So it's
That's
a fun
awesome.
job. Yeah.
And we're really excited. You guys won the Innovator Award this year on Monday. Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
You have your technology here at the desk with us. Is there anything that you would like to show us and tell us about it?
A lot of things. I mean, Evi.
First of all, I want to maybe give a huge shout out to the large amount of team members that were involved, right? It took an army to make this happen. But maybe very simply, if I can start, we are in a show floor that is filled with robots and automation systems. They have tons of sensors, different kinds of sensors and sensor modules. And typically these sensors, their value increases when you are able to interface with them in a real-time manner and a predictable manner, right? And this is done on a specific compute platform. Then, if you look at the other end of the spectrum, there's a large amount of compute requirement, and that happens on another system. So what we are doing with this AMD Embedded Plus is we are bringing our Versal adaptive SoC that can take on the sensor interfacing, real-time response and predictability, and then the Ryzen embedded CPU that can now take the enormous amount of compute requirement, putting it on the same platform. So now you have one platform that can address the both ends of the spectrum in an optimized way.
Yeah, there's a couple of terms that you guys have put out there on the Embedded Plus page, because I've had the chance to look into this. And I wanted to ask what you mean by things like sensor-friendly and adaptive system on chip. What do those mean to you?
Got it. So, Julia, I'll start. Maybe
Yeah, please go ahead.
Feel free to add. So, one of the things you want to pay attention here. So, this is a mini ITX motherboard, a standard PC form factor you'll see in many instruments. So, this has many of the standard PC interfaces like a USB and Ethernet.
Sure.
But we just mentioned there's multiple kinds of sensors and sensor types. So, they need specialized interface. So, we created these I/O modules that bring in these physical interfaces into the platform. But how are we making that happen? Is one of the features of this Versal adaptive SoC is that it has something called programmable I/O. These programmable I/O can be used to interface with any kinds of sensor. So now you have solved one major problem of bringing these sensors directly into this board without doing anything else. You're now bringing, vast variety of sensors into the platform directly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just I would say, being friendly means not just a piece of hardware, means basically an architecture. This means that many sensors requires real-time processing and very fast response time, especially in robotics. And moving forward with AI, you will need more and more sensors that requires basically coordination. So what we are doing in terms of sensor friendly means that we have the ability through this connector to the programmable I/O to the capability that is in this particular Versal device to get a pre-processing, so to filter away, to execute some operations like pre-AI, for example, massaging the data points, so transforming the information that is coming from the sensors in a way that could be better ingested by the main processor. In this way, this architecture is decoupling, so separating the part that requires a very fast response, an immediate response, a predictability from the one that requires high compute.
Yeah, I try not to get too deep into having this be too product promotional, but I'll say that a partner of yours said, hey, you should really ask them about what a Versal FPGA and Ryzen CPU, what does that bring to customers? How does that make systems integration easier, and what new benefits does it offer?
So from a designer standpoint, is helping in doing one particular thing, decoupling the critical, data handling, where you need, as I said before, a very fast response from the part that requires, data processing. That is a very important conceptual point. It's not related to the product, it's an architecture. This architecture allows you to have, first of all, a single board in which normally, I would say, in other situations, you have different boards. So when a system moves, for example, a robot is moving, you have vibrations, you have many, elements that are concurring in creating, a non-optimal platform. In this case, the operations are, first of all, executed on a single board, the second point, executed locally, third point, executed instantaneously, third point, the information is flowing between the two devices in a way that you can do most of the processing as a front end, filtering away the data, and then the rest of the parts is executed on the x86 product. So it's a conceptual element. It's not just a promotion of a product.
Sure, yeah. Well, one thing I notice here is that these aren't really physically big, and you look at a lot of GPUs today, and some of these they're massive.
Massive.
And GPUs certainly have their applications and their deep learning and edge AI and everything. But should people, in your opinion, right, should people start thinking of FPGAs more when it comes to AI and deep learning and these
absolutely, absolutely. There are a couple of things. First of all, we are trading basically speed per power. So less power. We have the FPGA allows you to execute things with a high degree of parallelism, especially I would say as a front end for the sensors. High-end parallelism means that you can use less speed, much more parallelism, elements that are running concurrently, and in this way you create basically, the amount of power that is required is in general much less, because there is a relationship between the power and the frequency, and this relationship scale significantly as soon as you go down in terms of frequency and you enlarge the parallelism.
I'll quickly add one point to Giulio, right? So I think in the previous question, Giulio mentioned about the pre-processing of pre-AI. So when we look at AI, we are also looking at the whole application acceleration, right? So of course the AI inferencing is the main piece, but then when you get the data from the sensor, you need to do some pre-processing to the data before you feed it in, and then post-processing. Now, with the AI accelerator and the FPGA, you can do all parts of the entire pipeline, so it leads to lower latency, and as Giulio was mentioning, higher performance for the amount of power you're spending for the AI inference.
Obviously, edge AI and AI in general is a very hot topic, but beyond that, what are some different industry verticals or different applications that you think this would be particularly useful in? Mm-hmm. I mean, with things like you need real-time feedback, right?
Absolutely. So there are many of those applications. It's not just in automation. So, for example, as I said, robotics is one of those. Specifically, I would say elements that requires, for example, programmable logic controllers is another one. We do have many elements that concur over there. For example, these particular elements, when you require networking, it could be plugged in, and then you can execute high-performance networking in this particular system. It requires a video interface. You execute those things just changing the interface, but without changing the logic. The other thing that is very important, and we might spend hours in discussing those elements, is that in the next future, safety and cybersecurity are becoming paramount, especially in this particular field. And this particular product is enabled for functional safety and very much designed for cybersecurity. Those are the two elements. Kevin, if you want to add something.
I'll maybe add one example to make it visualize it, right? So today, if you look at machine vision is one of the other verticals, and medical imaging is another vertical. So if you look at a medical imaging application, which is outside the world we are in today, right, in the automation, but you have a ultrasound probe, which is a specialized sensor. It needs something to then understand the sensor data, and then it needs a computer to run the hospital IT infrastructure. Same thing if you look at a machine vision application, there's a camera that's capturing the camera images, but you need a frame grabber that understands what the frames, then a PC to run the machine vision stack. So now this brings the frame grabber and the PC into one module, right? So robotics is one vertical, network offloading is another one, machine vision is another one, medical imaging is another one. And these are kind of the four main target applications today.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Yeah. Another question that your partner, as a friend, asked me to ask you about is leveraging the x86 software architecture. What benefits does that bring?
Yeah, I think we are more than happy to mention the partner, right? Mainly because Concurrent EDA and Dr. Ray, they have been a strategic partner of us. In fact, they have helped many of our customers be successful in their deployments. And so going back to the machine vision application, right? Concurrent has their own machine vision software stack. So today they run it on an x86 system that then connects into a frame grabber into a PC. So Ray was excited because now he can bring the frame grabber and the x86 on the same platform, run his software on the x86 side, which is very tightly coupled to the frame grabber that has all the data. And now he doesn't need more cables because it's all on one board. It's under 30 watt or around 30 watts of power, right? It's saving overall form factor. So that's why Ray is excited because he's already started going. And actually at our booth 3450, Ray is showing one of the machine vision applications running on platform today that was just released in Feb.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned it. Partnership seems to be a really driving theme at this event. You know, it's always been important, but if one of the big takeaways, if I were to list 3 or 5, partnerships might be near the top. You just see a lot of different companies showcasing their collaborations together, and it's great to see. And it's very exciting. What else are you guys excited about at in the general space?
In general space, I would say a lot of things. I mean, we have been here in showing this particular incarnation with Embedded Plus, but we are seeing an explosion of AI. We have seen an explosion of all those type of applications that in the past into industrial automation systems were relegated. I would say were a little bit marginalized. I would say, but today, I mean, AI is changing definitely the landscape. What we are doing with this particular action, and that we are extremely excited, is bringing the AI much closer to the field, much closer to the factory floor. And in this particular case, as I said, we combine, for example, the two worlds, the world in which we have, for example, an ARM processor, an AI accelerators over here, plus, I would say, in x86, we combine, for example, with ROS and ROS2, that are the robotic operating systems that could run in the front end for the sensor ingestion, that could run in the back end for the processing. That is an element in which we are extremely excited. And as I said before, the fact that in the next future functional safety is becoming paramount, that is one thing in which we are not just excited, but we are also investing significantly in this particular domain. In general, all our products that deal with robotics, with medical, with industrial automation are going to a full set of, I would say, certification, and that will be definitely very important for the future. I don't know, KV, there are many other points. I can talk for hours. I'm extremely excited. If you can add something.
I think Giulio covered a lot of ground. Maybe just to add one other point would be digital twin and simulation, right? The reason is now again, with the power of AI, with generative learning, taking a step back, digital twin is when you are able to virtually represent the physical world. So you are basically reflecting anything happening in the physical world on the virtual side. But now, on the virtual side, you can already train, giving it a vast range of different behavior situations. And now it's a learned model that's like coming down to the physical world, which basically means the physical world is super optimized without actually having to spend time in the physical world. So that kind of like virtual physical boundary is very exciting, and it's moving like rapid pace. I don't know, I felt like just weeks before I saw first humanoid, now everyone has a humanoid, right? That's how quickly this is evolving, so it's very exciting to see.
Additional point that I would say, I mean, in order to create those particular, say, solutions, you need a full infrastructure, a full pipeline. As I said, we do have the ability to ingest the signal, to pre-process them, to have a local compute, then moving things, as KV was saying, up. We do have the standard, compute. We do have the GPU for the visualization and rendering, and then the mechanisms that could be then offloaded into the cloud and then back. So there is a full pipeline. So AMD has an enormous amount of capabilities offering this particular platform. And in my opinion, is one of the unique values. So from the sensors up to the visualization in a single pipeline. That is extremely exciting.
Yeah, indeed. Any predictions for the next year or two?
AI.
In two letters.
Awesome.
Well, congratulations again, KV and Julio and all of AMD on winning the Innovation Award this year at Automate. If you want to find out more about what they can do for your business, visit their booth. There's still another hour or two you can, or check them out on the internet. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Automate Live.
A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital, the people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Hi, welcome back to Automate Live. Again, I'm Jana, Media Production Manager at A3, and I'm really excited to have two folks joining me with me from the team. The Market Intelligence team is what I'm talking about. I have, of course, next to me, Alex Shikany. He is the Vice President of Membership and Market Intelligence. Alex, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
And then next to him, we have Alex Coleman, and Alex is our brand new market analyst. Alex, thanks for being here.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Alex Shikany, first of all, we have to distinguish between the Alexes.
Yeah, how are we going to do that?
How are we
It's going
going
to
to
be
do that?
confusing.
But Alex, you have been here for 12 years
Yeah.
this week. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What have been some of your most significant shifts that you've seen in this industry during that time?
Yeah, so 12 years in this industry is actually I'm still on the early
You're
days
still a
curve with
baby.
how many great experienced folks we have here with, decades of experience, but it's an honor to have rolled over 12 years. I've seen a lot of developments. I've seen the emergence of collaborative robotics. I've seen the emergence now of AMRs in the robotic space. Vision technology, themes like embedded vision, where now we see vision being deployed in robot arms, smaller form factors, very low power. And then, of course, got to mention AI, got to mention software. I mean, come on, that's the buzzword of the day, but it is a recent development, some I've seen. So.
It is. And then also a recent development, I mean, in terms of A3, is we've really been growing the team across the whole company. But specifically, why are we growing the market intelligence team?
Why? Well, because you ask and we shall provide. So we have recognized the need in the marketplace for more reliable market intelligence, the value that members get, and it's time to broaden out, bring some new people in to add the new skill sets, new perspectives, and more importantly, so we can produce more content for our members and for you all out there watching in the automation industry.
That's right. And I mean, Alex, you've already written some articles. Folks can go on automate.org and check those out. But tell us a little bit more about your very short time so far. You just started at the beginning of this year, but tell us about your role on the market intelligence team.
Yeah, so on the market intelligence team, I've already had some great opportunities to contribute to our workforce survey report that'll be coming out in the next few days here. And then done some shorter form content, like you mentioned, that's on the blog that covers exciting developments like the CHIPS Act, as well as our annual survey of manufacturers, which will be coming out, and just really getting to dive into some great data sets and find some interesting data points for our membership.
That's right. Well, something that I know that the members are always concerned about and always talking about is their workforce, and that's an issue that they have. So what are some of the, what are you hearing from the members about that?
Workforce is definitely a key issue. It's why we embarked on this new study in partnership with Interact Analysis that we're going to create, that's talking about the issues that automation companies are facing when looking for talent, what their needs are, things like that. It's definitely a skills gap. Just in April, the Manufacturing Institute report and Deloitte released their updated, by 2030, there's 2.1 million potential unfilled jobs because the demand is outpacing the supply for these types of positions. So Alex has been working on a project to address that. We have a report coming out shortly after Automate, right, Alex?
Yeah, that workforce survey really highlights three key areas. The first is hiring. Where are companies seeing the difficulties hiring for roles? Retaining. What strategies are working for our members when it comes to actually keeping people in those roles? And then lastly, skilling and upskilling. What are the skill areas that they find the workforce is lacking, and how can they address those? And so I think it really provides a lot of actionable intelligence for our membership when they are looking at hiring and filling these roles.
That's right. Well, and Alex, you mentioned Interact Analysis. I'm glad you did. We do work closely with them. Why do we work with them? What value do they bring to our members?
Great question. So I first met Interact Analysis a handful of years ago now. Adrian Lloyd, their CEO, Tim Dawson, Senior Research Director, Ash Sharma, and the rest of their team. So I've known them for now a few years. And I initially received very good feedback from key members that I trust that told me, you should look at these folks, you should get to know them. We use their stuff. It's good, actionable intelligence. So we struck a relationship. We found this partnership. worked for both sides. It's they get to of course get exposed to a larger audience in our automation community, but we also get to provide more value to our membership in that they get these reports for just being a member, or if they're a certain level of member, they get a deeper level of market analysis. So
that's really where your roles have this perfect synergy of bringing membership what they need with that market intelligence.
Right.
When we think about that, this is the largest Automate show yet. Membership is at an all-time record high. What strategies have you found most effective in engaging that new membership base?
Yeah, I mean, getting to know them, understanding, I guess, relationships. It's all about relationships, right?
Yeah.
So our sole purpose, right, is to help our members and provide more value, help them sell more, help them meet more people, help them proliferate their technologies. That is our mission.
Yeah.
And so striking the relationship, making sure we're available for our members, that we're providing platforms like Automate and the Business Forum and other types of settings where they can do just that, meet people, they can expand their networks and sell more products. So that's primarily it. It's a people business still. We're in technology, but it's still a people business.
It's about the humans at the end of the day.
Yes.
And Alex, I'll go back to you now and to just look at that report a little bit more, thinking about the CHIPS Act. I mean, we had NVIDIA on the desk today. This is a huge component really to this whole industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so you guys have dove into the numbers. Why do semiconductor fabs matter to automation?
Yeah, one of the things that kind of drove the inspiration behind the piece was my awareness of how important the chips not only are to the end users of all these automation tools, in that, if you see a production line go down because they don't have a critical chip they need for the product, but also all of the kind of knock-on effects where it's on every product on the show floor here, it's in every product that our end users are making.
Yeah.
It really is one of kind of the drivers of modern production. And so keeping a stable, reliable supply, which is one of the aims of the CHIPS Act, is important for all of our membership and all of our members' kind of key drivers of revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to shift again because Alex, you're also really involved with the startups and the startup competition, and that was a real big success that we had this year.
Yeah.
We had a winner, Snowbotics.
Snowbotics.
Tell us a little bit about the competition this year and how it went.
Well, it was a tight race this year. We had 10 finalists, 9 of which were able to make it here to present live, and so we had some very innovative technology presented, from robotics muscles or tendons, you could consider it. So it's basically a whole different way to design and operate what we've come to know about robot arms and kind of the humanoid form factor. Very interesting stuff. We had Snowbotics, which was our ultimate winner. We had a radar vision company with a new take on that. I mean, we saw so much technology, and these are inspiring companies because they're just starting out. They're such early stage. They have not raised more than $5 million or in that range, and they're just a couple years old. So to build that relationship with these new companies for A3 and to expose them to this audience and this exhibitor base has been a lot of fun, and I congratulate Saucy and Snowbotics for their victory.
Now, and this is really cool because we're getting to a point now where we've been doing this for a few years, and so when we look back, I mean, look at the companies that started out as startups and look at where they are now. Do you have any stories from finalists of the past that you can share?
100%. So I was just over at the innovation stage, actually, at the front of the show here, and eStat Actuation was up there doing a presentation in front of a good crowd talking about their technology. eStat was in the competition and, of course, won last year.
That's right.
So again, this is it's been a great event. Covision Quality, another winner previously. They're out doing great things on LinkedIn. They're selling their products as well.
Yeah.
So it is really cool. Going all the way back to the early days of this, when we were here, years and years ago, 10 years, I don't even know the year, Soft Robotics was one company
Wow.
who won, and of course,
Look at where they
Soft
are
is
now.
very well known in the industry now. So it's become a really good staple for the Automate Show.
If you're a startup, don't sleep on Automate Startup Competition next year.
That's right.
All right, what advice would you give to just any startup in automation, aside from applying for the startup competition and coming to Automate?
What advice would I give them? Definitely apply. Apply to the. Don't be shy. Don't get your technology out there, and meet as many people as you possibly can. I know that those booths, those startups that were here back there, they've been busy. They've been talking to people. Even some of them starting to take orders or get kind of a backlog of people who are interested in stuff and what they're doing. So I would say get connected.
And how you get connected is by being a member,
That's
right?
right.
I mean, we have a specific startup membership just for you as a startup.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
I completely slipped my mind, but we do.
We do.
And it's a great option for folks.
It's there for you. Okay, being a global association, what role do you see A3 playing or continue to play in this automation industry? And you guys can both answer that.
Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is, really the global focus. Alex and I were just speaking, shortly before we came on about, a little bit of the origins of some of these companies and how, they made an effort to come here and exhibit, because I think, this is a gateway to obviously a huge market with great attendance. And so I think it can be kind of a global and a U.S. focused combination.
Yeah.
That's right.
And 50 years we're celebrating. You've been running the ad. I was watching it outside. Thank you. Playing
That's
the
right.
video.
That's right.
Everybody out there, on the internet watching this, we're all a community. We very much view it as A3 is here and we'll be here for 50 more years and well beyond that. So I'm very much, hopefully, I'm lucky enough in 50 years to be celebrating the 100 at some form factor, and we're at much higher rate of membership with a much larger show. But we see this as a community effort. A rising tide lifts all ships, and we're here to do what we can to make sure that the market continues to grow and people continue to learn about automation.
That's right. We're here at Automate. It's the last day. I mean, we'll be back with Automate next year. We are an annual show now. We'll be in Detroit.
Yep.
But, just looking back on this week, let's reflect for a moment. What has been a highlight for each of you?
You can start us off.
I think probably the highlight, especially as somebody newer to A3, was getting to interact with all the membership, hearing, what membership means to them. I was speaking with one exhibitor who said, this is really an opportunity for them to reach a new customer base and directly show their value. And I think there's, a real value in that for all of the members and for us as a community, and for me as somebody newer to the industry to get to learn about that, in such a direct, hands-on way.
Yeah. Well, the highlight for me has been getting to see what's new and developing in the past year. So we follow it, right? Of course, we follow on social media, on websites, and product developments and everything. But to see it in action and have someone directly to walk you through it and be able to have that one-on-one question time, walk from one booth to another member I've been doing that all day. A lot of my day today has been spent doing that. It's really, truly valuable.
It is.
So that's a super big highlight. Seeing friends, of course, everybody, this is one of a handful of times we typically see each other in person. And just the record year and seeing the team, the A3 team, come together to produce this, and it's been a really special week. Truly a highlight of my career, the most incredible show I've been a part of since I've been here. So.
I will echo that completely. It is an honor, and we're really thankful to have brought Automate to you successfully here from Chicago all week. We have one more very special interview coming up here on Automate Live right after this.
has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital of people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Hello and welcome back to this final episode of Automate Live for 2024. I'm Jana Martin, Media Production Manager for A3, and joining me now at the desk is last night's Engelberger Award winner, Joe Gemma. Thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be part of this discussion. Thank you.
Well, Joe, you are also the Chief Revenue Officer at Wassian Machine, but let's just talk for a moment about the award. I mean, it is known as the award in robotics, and you are receiving the award for leadership. It was named, of course, after Joseph F. Engelberger, and this award was established in 1977. And it's been bestowed upon roboticists, in 136 different leaders have won this award in that time in over 17 different countries. So, Joe, with over 35 years of experience in the automation industry, you've made so many contributions to robotics. Can you share some of the key moments throughout your career that have led up to this moment?
Okay, again, a little embarrassing, but thank you for that. I'd say some of the things that I'm really most proud of that we've done, and I really mean we, because this is not me. It really is a team of people that make things happen. One of the things certainly is walking around this show. It wasn't all that long ago. We weren't sure that we could continue to grow this industry. And we got together as a group of people that were concerned about what we could do and said we need to, kind of rethink what this needs to look like. And that actually automates a good kind of analogy of what that is, because we said what we really provide is not robots, and it was called Robot Vision Show. We provide solutions. We provide automation technologies, and that kind of rethought what this needs to look like, and I was fortunate to be part of that kind of discussion. Said, okay, so what should that look like? And I remember us talking about, let's put the integrators up front, because that's what people are really looking for, and we'll put the robot people, which they may not be so happy about, and I was running one of the robot companies, more to the back, because we want the people to come in and say, hey, this is what we can do to help you. And it really started to reform what we did as back then RAA and the vision associations and in motion control to eventually becoming A3. So that whole transformation, really proud of what we've done there, and to walk around this floor. It's kind of like, those of you parents, you had a baby, and then you see your child graduate high school or university. This is kind of that, to see that baby come along to where it is today, and they, kind of walking down the aisle for their doctorate or whatever. So I'm really proud of that. Another thing that I think, and Jeff Bernstein, while you wouldn't take credit for, he was a critical part of that for sure, but even the IFR. Many years ago, Jeff encouraged me to get more involved with the International Federation of Robotics. Yeah. And the two of us, I think, were helping to push the IFR to be more than just a statistical output of information, to really be a voice of the industry. And through some work together as the teams, we started to, again, rethink what that should look like. And the IFR really became that global face to promote industry, automation to industry, manufacturing, government policies, global policies. Right. So I'd say from my work history, those are two really critical things that I'm proud that we've done.
That's really, really pivotal. I mean, you look around now and, of course the robots are here, but what I've heard from so many people is it is all the other people that are here, and because you made that, you opened that door, and here we are. So thank you for that.
And it keeps evolving. Every year right. Now, more and more things are here. Certainly we talk about AI and some of the other technologies, connectivity, Industry 4.0 has become a reality because of things like this.
And it's only going to continue.
Absolutely.
Okay, so looking out throughout your career, you've held a lot of different positions, including at the Robotic Industries Association, as you mentioned, the IFR. How have these different leadership roles each played a role in shaping your perspective in this industry?
Hey, great question. I think one of the things that it really opened my eyes to maybe is that more of a collaborative strategy, right? Yeah. That a lot of people look at the world through different lenses. It's kind of, in fact, I use the analogy if we're all looking into a room and there's just windows and no doors, and there's an opportunity in the middle of that room, we all look at it from different perspectives. I might see a kitchen, you see a living room, somebody else sees a dining room, and then we getting together and getting those perspectives and doing that, working in this global environment with people that, brilliant, passionate people, and it really opened me up to getting that collaborative perspective for the greater whole of making things better.
What do you think, how do you approach collaboration? You have to come, with ideas, but also you have to kind of leave that ego at the door a little bit too, right? What's your perspective on that?
And the badge at the door too. And I've been a big champion of that.
Yes, you have.
We're all in this, let's leave the badge at the door. Actually, that idea we talked about, one of the things I've tried to do with the teams I've been part of, and even with the IFR and some others, even with customers, that let's go around the room, and instead of having a discussion about a particular person's perspective or opinion, let's each write down a couple of ideas that we think we can do to take advantage of this opportunity or this challenge, and then we go around the room and we write those things down, and then that person gets to share it. It's amazing how people say, wow, I never would have thought of that. But they couldn't, right? Because they can't see it I can't see it from your perspective, you can't see it from mine. But it's really eye-opening, and then you get together and you say, okay, now that we've got these 12 different ideas, they're all valid, can't do all of them tomorrow, but let's work on picking them. Instead of just randomly seeing which ones, I ask everybody, okay, now of those 12, pick the top 2 you think we can do. And it's amazing. Most people don't even pick the 2 they put on the list.
Really?
They pick something else, and somebody goes, I never would have thought of that. It's a great idea. And then we'll go around and say, okay, so you picked 1 and 5. I picked 1 and 7. Somebody else picked 1 and 8. Before you know it, everybody's around 1. And then we collectively pull on the rope the same way. We work at the same thing, and everybody's had a voice. And I think that's the most important thing. everybody's contributed. Because, and I get it, I'm one of those people who can try to dominate a room. So we got to shut Joe Gemma up sometimes so other people can talk. And it's a great way to make everyone have a contribution and collaborate.
Because then you're bought in. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's partially your idea,
Absolutely.
so you care about it.
You had a voice. Exactly.
That makes so much sense.
You can use that if you want. It's okay.
Thank you so much. I mean, in the same way, you know, all of these different companies, I'm sure, you know, the cultures have all been different. The roles have all been a little bit different. The work at hand and the solutions that you need have all been a little bit different. How do you look then to the rest of your team, and how do you try to lead them? Like, what kind of example do you try to set for them?
It's interesting because I'm not crazy about the word lead, because I know we have to lead, but you know, I try to make sure it's a very flat, you know, strategy or structure, so we're all working together. I think, you know, there'll be challenges and something goes wrong. The best way for me in terms of that leadership is when something goes wrong, let's get together and try to fix it. It doesn't help for me to say, Jana, what did you do? Automatically, any new or opportunity to, you know, work to a positive is already shut down because it's just not a positive situation for you. And for the others around, it's an awkward. So it's better to say, hey, we got a challenge, let's get together, put our minds together and work forward. However, if you really did something really positive, then you deserve to get that recognition and get the team together and say, hey, you know what Jana did and how she changed this and made it better for us? It's really a positive thing, and that builds a stronger trust, a stronger collaboration across the team, a trust in each of us. And again, it shouldn't be anyone in particular that needs to be getting that credit. The credit together is much more powerful.
I want to think now also about mentorship. I mean, I talked to so many people around this show this week that, you know, would consider you as a mentor, and I'm sure there's so many more. What makes for a great mentorship relationship?
Wow, I hadn't thought about that much, but I think probably caring. If there's such a thing, caring about people and what they want to do, what their needs are, just listening to, understanding them. Sometimes it's just giving them an opportunity to talk about what is important to them, and then just try to help guide them in through some of those opportunities or challenges. So it's hard to characterize it because different people are different things, but I think caring is probably the most central thing, and I hope and I believe people do know that I really do care. And in that way, I try to kind of comfort them and help them when they need it, or help push them when they need it also.
What would you say to somebody who's looking for a mentor? How could maybe they try to find that?
Another great question. And first of all, you probably heard me say, you know, be a mentor, find a mentor. And I've had some wonderful mentors in my career and still do. Jeff Bernstein's one of them, in fact. You know, one thing I want to encourage is try to think outside what your normal world environment would be. Because, again, people have different perspectives. So, and it can be somebody younger. I'm sure there's many things you could mentor me on, and I know you're a lot younger, but I'm sure you could mentor me things on. So I would encourage you, look outside your comfort zone. It's easy to go to a colleague that works with you every day, does what you do. I'm not saying they can't, but it can be very powerful and very beneficial to go outside that comfort zone. So that's what I'd encourage. And again, it doesn't have to be a senior person. It can be a junior person. It can be somebody outside a completely different industry. Again, giving a different perspective on life and on maybe your challenges.
You mentioned Jeff as a mentor. When you think about the people that you look up to, whether they're mentors or, you know, other leaders living or famous or anybody, who would you say you look up to in leadership, and who are some good mentors of yours?
Well, I mean, so Jeff is an example. You know, Jeff, when I talked about caring, one of his real strengths is trying to understand, like, his team and the people around him and what their needs are, their understanding of things, and that because of that caring perspective, they really will. I mean, will go through a wall for him. That's really important. I mean, there's a lot of things in leadership. That's certainly one of the things I think are very important. Decisiveness also can be a thing that can be helpful. So having a mentor that can kind of push you when you need to. A gentleman now that I would call a mentor, Scott Anair. You know, there's some things in leadership you have to sometimes understand that you don't have all the data you need, but it's better to make a decision moving forward at that
Yes.
point than not make a decision and getting
Right.
caught in paralysis of analysis type thing.
Right.
And so sometimes those types of things, having somebody who is a confident that can look at you in the eye and say, okay, stop. And you got to
Right.
move forward here. And sometimes you need that. So again, different people need different things. And I guess that confident, hopefully, is the thing you probably need most, that you feel you can really lean on that person, both positively and negatively when you need to.
All right, let's talk a little bit of your role at Wassian Machine. As the Chief Revenue Officer, you oversee the front end of the business. Can you tell us about some of the innovative automation solutions or technologies your company is really excited about right now?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to talk about Wassian. It's very
Absolutely.
nice.
Yes.
So Wassian, first of all, is a company of 3 different divisions. Automation is our largest division. The other 2 divisions, we have a standard product portfolio of the 2 forming technologies. It's a standard product series. And then we have the precision machining group, which is a fairly large group in the upper Midwest. And then the automation group. And from that, one of the things we're trying to be is, I say, the solution provider for sure, but kind of that trusted partner to our customers. Particularly today, a lot of small, medium-sized companies are looking at trying to automate manufacturing processes, and they don't know the technology necessarily. They don't know how to approach it. They don't necessarily have the staff on that can help them in that direction. So we want to be that trusted partner, and we tell our teams for sure, understand the customer's business. So what is going to make the difference for them with their customers, whether it's the consumer or another company, what's critical to them, so we can help guide them through that journey. It's not really, we don't want to be that, hey, we just want you to buy something for us.
Right.
We want to really be a partner in your business to understand it. And I think that's critical, what we try to do at Wassian. Differentiation or not, I don't know, but we do want to be that trusted advisor, that trusted partner with our partner customers.
The overall is more important than any new product or device or thing. That overall just support. We're going to help you find the solutions that you need. I love
And there are
that.
some, to be fair, there are some standard, as far as we're concerned, some standard product portfolio strategy we have that can help scale. But that's not the strategy of our company is really to help our customers. The product portfolios we want to, if that makes it faster and better because it's pre-engineered and makes it easy for them, great. But we really want to solve their problems.
I love that. And I'm sure they do too. You've had an extensive career working for both system integrators and robotics OEMs. How has your diverse background influenced your approach into leadership and problem solving within this automation industry?
I'd say the automation, the integration side really is a unique perspective because as the robot manufacturer, we had one piece of that solution we talked about. And as the integrator, you have to put all those pieces together to come with a final outcome. And even the way to market is a little bit different. So that certainly opened my eyes to a different way from a marketing and sales perspective to approach the market differently. I think that that's something I've learned from this different thing. An interesting thing about all this, because when I was at the robot manufacturer, and I talk to people and they say, "What do you do for a living?" Not so much now as it was in the past, but they say, "Oh well, you take away jobs."
Right.
And it's a continuous battle. It really has changed today in both cases. First of all, when I say we do integration, we help solve problems that make things faster or more productivity. People already have a different perspective. But even fortunately from the robot side, people say, wow, that must be exciting business. So there's been a paradigm shift anyway. But
That's incredible.
It is. And for me, again, being a roboticist, if that's what you want to call it, having people have a better, higher acceptance of what we do and recognize that we actually create opportunities. And again, as the integrator, I get to really be part of the full integration solution and see that whole project through, which is it's kind of a little more rewarding from that perspective.
And as we know from stats we heard on the desk already today, that when the job numbers go, employment goes down is when robot sales are going up. And so we know that robots don't in fact take away those jobs.
Exactly.
This robotics industry is constantly evolving. What emerging trends or technologies are you really excited about in the future and now?
Yeah. So I'd say the next big, for me, the next big disruption that needs to be happening and is starting to happen is connectivity. So, and when I say that, we talked about Industry 4.0 10, 15 years ago,
Right.
and thought that's something of the future. It's certainly a reality. today, but we need even that next level where the equipment needs to talk to each other. And there are companies starting to move in that direction. That's definitely going to be part of the near and long-term future. As consumers of this technology, it's frustrating for the customers, our end users, to have a piece of equipment that don't talk to each other and they have to independently manage that equipment. So having that connectivity, especially because of what AI can be and data can do, having that information not shared is really a frustration. So I think that's the next big disruption we're going to see going forward. A few years ago, I said that mobility would be a big disruption, and it is.
And you're right. Look at all the AMRs around here today.
Absolutely.
I've never seen a bigger AMR in my life than I have at this show this week.
Exactly. So I'm guessing 5 years from now we'll be talking about, remember we talked about connectivity? It is going to be a reality. It's necessary because the consumer of the technology is pushing in that direction.
I don't doubt it for a second. Joe Gemma.
I don't have a crystal ball, by the way, but let's see.
I think you do. Well, Joe Gemma, thank you so much. Again, congratulations on the honor of receiving the Engelberger Award. I'm really glad to have you today.
It's an incredible honor. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you all for staying tuned and watching Automate Live all week. We'll be back for a real quick wrap up right after this break.
A3 has had a huge impact on the automation industry, and I benefited through my company, General Motors, who used that information, that association, to further develop and advance robotics technology. A3 brought together all of the different supplier companies which could deliver the technology. The human capital of people that knew how they operated and could work with them, and it had a big positive impact on the success of General Motors, and clearly it had a big positive impact on many other companies and the industry as a whole.
Hello, and welcome back to the final closing minutes here of Automate Live. It's been an honor to join you here all week from this desk. Thank you to everyone who came down here to the show and checked out all of our exhibitors. And thank you to everyone here who tuned in on LinkedIn. We are at Automate on LinkedIn, of course, at Automate Show, and at A3. You can follow A3 and Automate on social media everywhere to stay tuned with all of the incredible events that we do all year. We have coming up this fall events about AI and smart automation. We're doing an entire event with our key sponsor FedEx about autonomous mobile robots and logistics this fall. We're also, as Jeff Bernstein mentioned, we're doing an event about humanoid robots this fall. Of course, we're going to be featuring the International Robot Safety Conference again as well. So everything you need to know about the automation industry, you can learn here from us at A3, the Association for Advancing Automation. We're so proud of this Automate show. It is a record show this year. We have broken the records in every way possible. It is the biggest automation event in North America, and we are thrilled that you chose to spend your time with us here this week. We will be back next year in 2025. We will be in Detroit again, so get your tickets now, book those hotel room blocks as soon as you can, And we look forward to seeing even more exhibitors, even more solutions, and even more incredible thought leadership from you and from everyone else in this industry continuing on. Thank you again from everyone here at the Association for Advancing Automation and all of us here at Automate Show. Have a great weekend.